Good. Hello, Sharpies, and welcome to this very special I Can't Quit You episode of Steel Sharpens Steel. We weren't able to come last week. We put the ChrismaHannuKwanzaa message up, but tonight we had to come in and give you an update on what is arguably the most important race of the evening, the first Sharpie to post a comment. And today it was Mike Bartlett. Anthony Turner came in third place. CJ came in second, and Anthony Turner was in third place. Mark Stepney was good with the Sharpies. Phil Harrison, let's get to it. Bonus coverage from the panel. That's right. And hello, we are all here. What I have is I'm looking at the New York Times. The Atlanta Journal-Constitution right now actually does not have as dynamic an update on the horse race between Raphael Warnock and Herschel Walker. What I can tell you right now is at present, Raphael Warnock has a lead. It is only about 2,000 votes. Now, the thing to consider is that DeKalb County, that Warnock took with 87% of the vote in the midterm election, only has about 5-6% of its vote in. So obviously that's a very strong Warnock stronghold. And so we're looking for a lot of votes to come from there. The other takeaway right now is that Walker actually is underperforming in some of the counties that he won last time. So some of these rural counties, we don't know if it was weather or if it's, now that the actual fate of the Senate is not in question. There were people who held their nose the first time who have released the clothespin from their nose. But being that as it may, we have a little while. The race continues to tighten. It looks like Herschel Walker actually right now momentarily is up by about 900 odd votes. So we're kind of going back and forth.
It is
But
50-50.
it is legit 50-50 right now. I'm Tom Cunningham.
I'm Joyce Stevens.
And I'm Chuck Hobbs. Good evening.
Chuck representing Morehouse and your Morehouse brother, Raphael Warnock, clearly, with the maroon tiger and the maroon shirt to match the maroon tiger. Joy, you are our one resident Steely who is in the Atlanta Metroplex. And what was your... You got a baby box wine. What was your voting experience this time?
You know what? It took me longer to vote in this runoff than it did the first time out. I went early to vote, and it was an hour and 45 minutes in line in Buckhead, which is not the black part of town. And yeah, it took a bit, and nobody got on a line. There was actually even one lady, God bless her heart. She was cheering people on, like trying to keep people's spirits up. Little old white lady trying to keep people's spirits up to keep folks in line to vote. So they wouldn't get depressed. And like she was like, "Oh, you look, you've made it this far. Come on, you can do it. It's not that bad." Blah 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 blah. Hey, how's your day going? And I commend her for that, because there wasn't anything or anybody else out there to stop you from just stepping out at about that 45-minute mark, which was only halfway to the door. I had friends that voted today, however, and they were like in and out in 20 minutes, meaning most of the people, at least in the metro Atlanta area, voted early.
Right. Yeah, what Christy is saying aligns with what I've been seeing in the reporting, both at the New York Times and the Atlanta Journal-Constitution, that the three most population dense counties are the ones with currently the lowest vote count. Some of them as low as 50%, some of them as low as I was saying for DeKalb, fewer than 10% of the votes counted. So those are obviously going to be strong spaces for Raphael Warnock. It is, in fact, in my opinion, somewhat encouraging that they are as close as they are right now, so that when those votes start to roll in, he won't be having to make up a lot of ground. He should just leap into a position that holds him. I will say that the New York Times had a live broadcast needle, a forecast needle, basically saying one needle was likelihood of win and one needle was perceived advantage. And Warnock was in the lead on both of those things. And then all of a sudden Herschel flipped up and they turned it off. So they aren't as confident in their predictive modeling as I think they were at one point. Chuck, what is your feeling? They keep tallying. Oh, and this time Herschel Walker just went down an incremental piece of a point and Raphael Warnock rose. So what is your feeling? You've been doing a lot of blogging about Herschel Walker and his limited intellectual capacities. What is your feeling about how this outcome will represent perceptions of Black people in Georgia and as a part of the electorate?
Well, you know, the one thing that's interesting here is I'm actually proud of the number of people who have turned out so far. Number one, you're dealing with a midterm race. Turnout, generally speaking, across America is not that great in many areas when you're talking about Democratic voters. And then not only you're talking about a midterm race, but you're talking about a midterm runoff. And one of the things that we have to keep in mind is I was concerned about election fatigue. I heard a pundit say something about that on CNN earlier. I totally agree. And by election fatigue, I mean, if you think about it, because this was a special election 2 years ago, there are people who would have voted for Warnock as many as 4, I think 5 times in the last 2 years. And so it's hard to get people to continue to turn out, give money, things of that nature. And so I'm extremely proud from the fundraising standpoint that the Warnock team was able to engender. And I'm definitely proud of how many people in the state of Georgia have turned out so far, both in early voting and with respect to the day. So I want to give that compliment. In terms of the perception of Black people with Herschel Walker, I think that one of the things that we have always had to deal with as a people in the United States of America is perception. I think that there are so many non-Blacks and unfortunately even a lot of Blacks who have condescending mindsets about Black people, particularly Black people in the South. And I mean, I know Atlanta in particular is one of those areas where there are a lot of transplants, so to speak, who've fallen in love with the city and stayed there, but are not necessarily native Georgians and what have you. But when you add that mix together of people who were not maybe native Georgians as well as native Georgians of all races who have banded together to support Raphael Warnock, it warms my heart, but it also is rather discouraging to see the number of people who have been willing to cast a vote for an illiterate, immoral dilettante like Herschel Walker. I mean, in my intellectual capacity, it's mind-boggling. In my regular old street capacity, it's not mind-boggling at all. What it is he is a useful Negro, an idiot who will do the bidding of Mitch McConnell and Donald Trump and whoever else are the political Republican masters who tell him what to do. And unfortunately, he gives cover to white supremacy. He gives cover to those racists who are like, see, Chuck Hobbs, I'm not a racist. I voted for a Black guy. Well, yeah, you did. You voted for a Black guy who licks your boots and will do your bidding to unravel all of the gains of the last 50, 60 years with regards to civil rights, and one who is a self-hating, self-deprecating, idiotic Negro. And so I have no respect for Herschel Walker. I have all the respect for Brother Raphael Warnock for his restraint when he has like either debated or been one-on-one with that guy, because I just wouldn't know where to attack. I mean, just how do you even debate someone who gleefully got on stage the other day and says he doesn't know about what no pronoun is, and the werewolf and the vampire, and the watermelon capital of the world, and they call me a coon. Coon, the smartest animal. No, being rural and country myself, coons are dead. Every day when I go walking early in the morning to drive, those animals are on the side of the road as roadkill.
Coons gleefully eat the trash out of rich people's neighborhoods.
Exactly. And not just rich people. Chuck, you said something interesting about Walker's aversion to pronouns and misgendering things. So I just want to make it clear that he would prefer not to be called a dilettante. He would rather be called a dilettantle.
Damn it, Tom. Touche. If you did wrong. Touche, right?
I can't resist a portmanteau, bro.
Yeah.
You again, touche. And so with that, y'all, I don't know. I pray that this night will be the last night that any of us will have to watch, listen to, or hear about Herschel Walker. I hope that he can go back to doing whatever idiots do when they're not in the public eye anymore. He is a disgrace to the race and to good and decent people. And again, I pray that Raphael is able to win this race tonight, so that again we can put this whole sordid mess behind us and never have to deal with Herschel Walker again.
It's actually 50.1 to 49.9 in Walker's favor right now.
But again, we're looking for those outstanding counties to really start pulling that vote in, and that's what I'm looking for right now. The live feed from the New York Times is very, very solid, and so they are keeping track in a way that I barely expected it was going to be possible. And their current, they just updated again. They have Warnock up at 50.25% and Walker down to 49.75%. That's with 72% of the vote in. So again, it looks like perhaps some of those rich counties are actually coming in with Warnock votes. Their latest update just affirms what I said about the needle. The needle is temporarily paused while the team
my nerves is bad, y'all.
The precinct level estimates. We want to give a shout out to our esteemed colleague, Sharon, who is watching these returns. It is flip-flopping literally moment by moment. And so we're kind of juggling all the time, trying to see how things are going to shake out. So we will see. But while we're waiting, there are
TK, I'm mad too.
Yeah, we're all mad that he got so many votes.
But one thing before we get off of the idiot, one thing I did want to say, and this is going to something that Chuck said earlier about how Black people feel basically about the effery, is this picture that I captured from somebody sent me this. Wait, let me pull this down. Thank you. Herschel Walker's candidacy is a fundamental assault by the Republican Party on the dignity of Black Americans. This is Carolyn Randall Williams, poet and writer, and she has a full essay on this. I want to say it's in the Atlantic. So I got this off Joanne Reed's page. So just something, this is the way I feel. Like when you put him forward, what you're saying is, I don't see any of your accomplishments as a Black person. I don't see any of your dignity as a Black person. All I need is a sack of talking meat with a skin tone that matches what you say you are. And he represents you just as well as you would, because I see no difference in your accomplishments, because the first thing you are, in my mind, is the N-word.
Right.
Well, I would just like to say on behalf of good steaks everywhere to aver that what Herschel Walker is doing is talking in comparison to a bag of meat is, I think, somewhat offensive to meat. So I enjoy when a good piece of steak talks to me with a nice crust and some herbed butter. And Herschel Walker has not communicated anything nearly as meaningful as a good steak from Ruth's Chris or Morton's that I've ever enjoyed. I will say once again, this is going to be flip-flopping constantly. But Raphael Warnock is at 50.6% right now. And that crucial threshold is really important because it's above 50.
Yeah.
That's what got us into this problem in the first place.
Yes.
They didn't get above, neither got above 50. And so now he is at, Walker is at 49.4 and Raphael Warnock is at 50.6, which is a 1.2 margin.
And that's with 76% of precincts reporting.
Right.
So
77 now. So
77,
we're definitely getting closer to kind of that threshold. And, once we see it, there were 300 odd thousand votes in DeKalb, or 280,000 plus votes in DeKalb County. 87% of those broke for Warnock. So you're talking about 200,000 votes that are likely or possible to hear
pray for us
coming into Warnock. And one of the things that is interesting, Joy, you were speaking to it before when you were saying about how long your line was in early voting. That has been the situation with a number of people. Some people who wanted to vote early were like, I'll just come back on election day, thinking that election day would be easier. Some people, it was easier. There was one precinct that had to file an emergency injunction through the NAACP because they had voting problems at the start of the day. So they actually extended the voting 45 minutes past 7 o'clock. And as long as you got into line by 7:45, you were going to be allowed to vote. So that's why I put on my page, if you're in line for Warnock, you bet not go nowhere.
Right.
If
I got
you're
an
a Walker
email
voter-
from Fair Fight, which is, Stacey's
Right.
organization, said, and the email title was "Stay in
Right.
Line."
Right.
Yeah.
And if you're a Walker voter, go on ahead and get out the cold. We don't want you to catch the flu or anything. You can go home and put your hat on or put your coon mask on, whatever it is that floats your boat.
You actually, if you were going to vote for Walker, since he is a werewolf, there's different rules for him. So you can come back the night of the full moon,
right,
and vote again. Then, so just
those
go home.
votes,
You'll have another
votes
chance.
will still count. Full moon votes.
I also want to shout out Boda Box Mini, because this wine, if you're a fan of other cheap wines like Menage a Trois and Apothic Red and Trader Joe's $2 Chuck, Boda Box is fire. This Red Evolution actually is rated. It's like in the top Best Buys value, which for $5.99 for 3 glasses of wine ain't bad. So I'm just saying, don't do me like that.
$5.99 for 3 glasses of wine. It's the Boda Box. The Boda
I need
Mini.
this tonight. Y'all don't understand. My nerves are frayed between what I do for a living, which is talking to companies about diversity, what I do after work, which is trying to convince the people I live with in the condo association to do the right thing, and then to sit here and watch the whole state just devolve into buffoonery. Yo, give me this wine. I could be on something stronger, but I'm not. I'm sticking.
Well, can we take our eyes off of this flip-flop, which is going to be going throughout the evening, and focus on something that is a little less controversial in terms of universal
Let's see if I can
opinion?
get a sponsorship. Yeah.
Yay. Bruh. What you doing, man? You made a gaffe because you didn't know what DEF CON was. And so you said DEF CON. And so a lot of people took it to the nth degree. I'm not saying folks for whom DEF CON is triggering should not have felt triggered. I am not at all saying that. I'm saying that Ye is dumb and he said something super dumb. But what you have done since then, talking about how much you love Hitler,
right?
Like, what is it like? For real, dog?
Who he reminds me of? He reminds me of an idiot version of, what was the guy that used to have the first shock jock that was big in New York?
Howard Stern.
Howard Stern. He's an idiot Howard Stern, because Howard Stern was smart and witty, and everyone knew that the things that he was saying were outrageous and ridiculous. This guy is like, if you listen to that interview where he said, I love Hitler and all of that kind of nonsense that he was saying, he starts off with a very tentative approach to it. He goes, well, there are some things good about him. And by the time he's talked 10 minutes, 15 minutes later, he's like, oh, I love him. He's trying to get a rise and he's doing it all the wrong ways. But, I think it's expressed the best when somebody said, it is Christmas time and it is a holiday season. So, you heard of Elf on the Shelf? Well, now you got Coon on the Moon.
But the coon is the most aggressive creature on the moon. It's the smartest creature on the moon. They all dead on the moon. But, but they smart and dead.
Yeah, Kanye's a lost cause. I wrote a little something about him earlier today in my blog, and it's one of those things where he's playing around with that extreme leftist
extreme right.
Is it? Would you consider it to be extreme right?
It depends on what but he's addressing the leftists from the Marxist viewpoint of Jews as the bourgeoisie. I think Jewish people, not the Jews, Jewish people as the bourgeoisie. So I think that's kind of where you're coming from.
Yeah, that's it, Tom. And what's always frustrated me about that, and y'all can remember when we were in college, there were always some fringe element brothers that was standing out on the corner who would, and nowadays they're wearing the purple and gold, looking like the saved Qs, the black Israelites, and we're the original Jews, or you had some of the Nation of Islam brothers who, well, not even Nation of Islam per se, but the 5%ers who do all of this type of stuff. It's been around for decades. Kanye's fooling around on the margins with some of that. And at the end of the day, it's one of those things where it's like, why would you try to offend people who aren't bothering you? And more importantly, playing around with, historical, like just issues, both from anti-Semitic standpoint, as well as with regards to how he operates with our own people. It's just extremely frustrating because I'm like, you're watching a guy unravel before our eyes. I mean, the more he talks, the less money he's going to make. Eventually, he potentially could go broke himself. It actually,
if that child support don't eat him up within a year,
$200,000 a month.
Trying to tell you, self-fulfilling prophecy, right? 18 years, and Kim's got him for 18. Not that Kim doesn't have her own money, but again, a fool and his money will soon be separated. And at the end of the day, I don't have any love for Kanye. His self-destruction. I mean, I could say I'm praying for the brother, but I'm really not. I mean, at this point, he's not funny anymore. Not that
he was never funny. Yeah.
He's always been well, I'm not gonna lie. The George Bush doesn't like black people, doesn't care about black people, kind of had me chuckling back during Katrina because we all were kind of anti-Bush at the time. But he hasn't been funny to me since then, tell you the truth.
But that was different. That was not of the same character as what he is doing
now. Yeah.
I would say when he said, George Bush doesn't care about black people, you could argue that was coming from a place of frustration, not enough stuff being done for Hurricane Katrina. It was something that a lot of people wondered at the time, and it seemed as if he was giving voice to, he was saying the quiet part out loud, like everybody's doing now. However, that was 20 years ago.
Yeah,
and he's been devolving since. And there's levels of devolution. Okay, you're saying something a little off. Okay, now you're doing things that are a little off. Okay, now you're putting out media and fashion and all these other things that are weird. And we try to give you the benefit of the doubt well beyond 3 strikes, right?
Oh, yeah.
And I had this conversation. One of my Jewish friends up in New Jersey, she was like, we were talking about the Kanye thing as it related to Jewish people because she was Jewish. And she's like, I don't understand. And I feel kind of weird about it that so much has happened in response or reaction to his defamation of the Jews. And it didn't happen that way for Black people. And it seems like that should have happened. And I told her, and this is my current feeling about it. That's our fault because the Jews as a block threw him away. And the Black people were like, well, but he's artistic, and College Dropout was a fire album, and I kind of believe what he might be saying. We don't know, and blah blah blah. We waffled on that. Why would we expect anybody else to drop him as a sponsor when we didn't. Not as a block, not the way the Jewish community was like, hands down, 100%, boom. We were like, but though, I mean, he just need to take his medicine. We got to give him another chance. And so nothing happened because we didn't demand it. And so all those people that are mad that he got dropped after he made those anti-Semitic statements, you should have been mad when he was making anti-Black statements, but you was busy trying to give him a pass. And that's on us. That's on us as a people.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm glad you said as a people, because guess what?
Yeah.
I'm not taking that L. Yes. No. Because I like that College Dropout album, and I like that song with the Adam Levine thing. But Gold Digger was a funny commentary, but he's been on some strange.
Yes.
And not just the stuff. I mean, just his raggedy clothes and them Swiss cheese foam infused little sandal things. People were calling him a genius, and I'm not sure who. Oh, Kiba Body, one of my frat brothers, was talking about how loosely the term genius gets thrown around. Just because somebody makes money doing something that you don't understand doesn't make them a genius. His personality, it's the same thing with Trump. Trump is not a business genius. Trump is a person who benefited from being white and being entitled and taking advantage of tax code and taking advantage of bankruptcy and taking advantage of this, that, the third. It doesn't make him a genius. Now, you could argue that Elon Musk is a genius because he didn't invent Tesla. He didn't invent PayPal either. But he got in and he manipulated it. And now he's the face of Tesla. And the people who actually created Tesla don't nobody even know who they are.
Not a one.
But he is, probably a sociopath. And the fact that he's playing these games, I don't know if he just thought he wanted to blow up Twitter to blow it up. I don't know what he thought he was doing.
He don't know what he thought he was doing.
And that's the point. And so here you are, you got all of this going on, and yet, at the outside, maybe he'll be $45 billion poorer if he completely destroys Tesla. I don't know.
There's so many people who trip and fall into a better situation and then pull a Pee Wee Herman on you, be like, I meant to do that. No, you didn't. You ain't meant to do none of this. You don't even know what was about to happen. You're lucky you were able to save it or salvage it. That doesn't make you a genius. It makes you a lucky son bitch. That's all.
Right.
And Kanye's luck done
Runted.
Right.
Out.
And to quote another rapper, you might have a heart attack when you find out the black folks don't want you back. Ice Cube.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it just is what it is, y'all. I mean, what you gonna do?
Mm-hmm.
What you gonna do when they come for you? Yeah. Oh, arrogant is possibly the nicest way to frame it.
Right.
Yeah. And I'm not gonna lie, my friend Carmen up above Nikki Rosa, she made a comment that's true. He very well could be struggling with bipolar disorder, but if he's not going to help himself, what can we do? I mean,
right.
We've all had friends and our family members who have struggled with mental illnesses who just won't go to the doctor. They just won't take their medicines or get something prescribed. But we don't have to take abuse from those family members and he ain't kin to us. I mean, at the end of the day, I mean, I wish him well and wish he would go and get some help. But if he's not going to do it, it's again, I can't sit up and support the guy.
Right. I mean, it's the same thing. I mean, it's the same thing as if any other person has been offered help. I can understand it if there's not help available.
Right.
For all the people in this country who suffer from mental illness and don't have the health insurance or the money or the family or the support to get the help that they need, and they end up in bad situations, sometimes making worse decisions because they can't get that stability or that they need. He has the money, the resources, the help. He's got people telling him. His own ex-wife tried to tell him, baby, maybe you should take this medicine. And he didn't want to hear it. And at that point,
please.
You're willfully ignorant and willfully arrogant, and you deserve what you got. I have no sympathy for people that won't help themselves. And I will not put him in the category of people who suffer from mental illness, because he is digging it.
Right.
He is digging
He's
into
loving
it.
it.
He's loving it and reveling in it. And we're all having to watch it. So, no, I got no patience and no sympathy. I have no empathy for him.
Yeah.
He is building this on his own, and he's doing it on purpose. And as Mark said, I'm going to let him go. Let him go. He is out.
Yeah, you got to. And, again, I think somebody up above, I saw Mike Bartlett talking about it and others, and we've talked about it before. We have a very strong cult of celebrity worship in our own community, too. Sometimes it's hard for me to blast the trumpets of the world and their cult like, love for Donald Trump, when in reality, Black people can sometimes, and I'm not talking about us on this program or even the Sharpies, but a lot of us worship celebrities too. There's a reason why R. Kelly was still making a lot of money off of his music, even though everybody knows that he was a pedophile, whether he was convicted before or not. Everybody in America for 20-something years, since those tapes broke, have known who he was, and yet you still had DJs playing his music at white parties and Black parties and blue parties and every other party that you wanted. And so at the end of the day, we struggle with that. We love celebrities. That's why some Black people have voted for Herschel Walker.
And Donald Trump.
Yeah, and Donald Trump. It's the whole celebrity deal where folks will cuss you out. I mean, even segueing into another hot topic this past week, no matter where you stand on the Deion Sanders issue, right? And Deion's a guy that I have been a fan of since his freshman year at FAMU Florida State.
Florida State, yeah.
And that was a Freudian slip.
Yeah.
Because all of us who were in Tallahassee then know good and well, as Tom will tell you too, that he spent 99.9% of his time on FAMU's campus when he wasn't practicing or playing football over at Florida State. But
he lived over there.
Yeah, he did. But no matter where you stand on him taking the job at Colorado or not, there have been some people who have wanted to curse you out this week for questioning Prime, as if that's their blood brother or their daddy or their husband or baby. It has been ridiculous. Like, we can't discuss how we feel about it. Y'all just jealous. Y'all just hating. Everybody's not jealous and everybody's not hating. I mean, and when you start to see people making comments like that, it's like, you know what? I'm not even going to push back and argue, because this is somebody who isn't worth the time, so to speak. So,
hey, Harry, thanks for the shout out. Please enjoy your cruise as we all sit here biting our fingernails.
Is that what he's on a cruise?
Yeah. And what's the latest numbers, y'all?
I was just going to tell you, because between me checking and me checking now, Herschel Walker is back on top by a slender margin with 81% of the votes. You kind of segued into Deion Sanders, and so since we've had this little update and we're still back and forth in the horse race, I will tell you that this was my commentary on Deion joining Colorado. And my mother said, I don't understand what your post is. And so I had to walk her through it. I was like, so I am SWAC. And then there was the Rachel Dolezal set of me. And so I too am SWAC. And so that segued into I moo am SWAC, because the Colorado mascot is the Buffaloes. And the closest animal sound that would make that meme funny was moo. So I moo am SWAC. And look, here's my whole thing. My take on Deion moving to Colorado is that FAMU basically just became the presumptive leader in the SWAC. And so I don't have a problem with it. I'm good. Go on ahead, pimpin'. You take it to Colorado with its 3% Black people and all of the kids that tried to follow you into the portal and whatever, and your own son and da. You enjoy that culture of Colorado, hotbed of the Klan, and prone to violence. I mean, and legal weed. So I guess things are going to work out for you. We shall see. Certainly, he couldn't do any worse than the coach he's replacing. So there's that. And he is getting a lot more money. And this is commerce. And so I think the wolf tickets he was selling about the importance of HBCUs and stuff like that, that kind of grates my nerves a little bit. But, he gave them time. He gave them 2, super outstanding seasons. And so, there it is. Go ahead, Joy.
I do want to show this quick video that a friend of mine sent me. It was the last press conference that Deion did. Did you see this? It may not be the last one, but the caption on it is, I'm going to show, it says, "This is when I knew he was done." Well, hang on a second.
Okay.
Start off by saying, God bless you. Appreciate you and everything. I'm pissed off right now because I had mixed emotions. We won. The kids played really well. While the game was going on, somebody came in and stole every darn thing I had in my locker room.
Oh, my God. Oh, my God.
Yeah. Credit cards, wallet, watches. Thank God I had on my necklaces. How?
It is interesting to me. I will never understand. You probably got a safe at your house.
Right.
How many, he said watches. How many watches do you need? Put the one watch.
Still funny though.
I'm not saying it's not funny. We had a great game. Then somebody stole all my shit. How? How?
And yes,
going into the locker room and stealing your stuff because they knew it was your stuff.
No, the thing is that the video is from a couple of years ago, but still, it's funny. I like it being repurposed the way it was. Yeah. Like they basically you saying we've been knew he was gonna leave since they stole all his stuff.
Yeah.
But also, you knew who you was. Why did you know what? I love Atlanta with my whole heart, but there are times where I put all my stuff in the trunk of my car.
You know what's funny? That's anywhere. One of the things that I'm really going to be interested in watching, in as much as I watch any of it. I mean, I'm not going to be checking for Colorado or nothing like that, but that video from 2021, that was the spring season that Jackson State played, because remember, after the pandemic, most of the black colleges did not play in the fall of 2020. So the SWAC played and the MEAC, some MEAC teams played in the spring of 2021. So that was considered a season. Then they played again in the fall of 2021. That was considered a season. Then obviously 2022. I'm wondering, and we can circle back to this down the line, if something like that happened at Colorado, will he take a podium at a press conference and blast that like that at the University of Colorado? Some people will say, well, yeah, that's prime being prime. I'm not so sure. I'm not so sure if he'll clown like that in front of white folks in their building. If you follow where I'm coming from.
I follow where you're coming from. And I think there's a lot more factors that would play into it. Would he have gotten on screen and clown like that if they had fully investigated, if there was any follow-up action taken, or if they were dragging their feet? Like, I'm not sure what frustrated him to the point that he made that statement. But at Colorado, would it have been resolved so quickly that it didn't have time to get to the podium? I think there's more to it than just, he's acting out and he wouldn't do this in front of good white folks. I'm just speaking just how I see things handled here in my city, where depending on the neighborhood you're in, the police response time is very different, and folks get a lot more frustrated where the police are slower to respond than they are in other places. So I think it's more to it than just he wouldn't show out in front of white folks. I think it's more.
We'll see.
I want to jump back onto the Walker-Warnock race. So here's some statistics that should be heartening to us. Again, the biggest counties that have thousands of votes out, so that's Cobb, DeKalb, Fulton, and Gwinnett. Tens of thousands of votes are still out. Right now, the margin between them is about 6,000 votes. And it is said that he is running further behind his November 8th totals than Warnock is. So right now, he's at about, for instance, in Marjorie Taylor Greene's district, right? he's running about 85% of his November total, but Raphael Warnock is running at 88% of his November general election total. So there's more fall off in Raphael Warnock's voters than there are in Warnock's voters, which is good news for Warnock. And right now, what we're seeing is that the places from which the votes have yet to be tallied are strong Warnock districts. And so nothing is certain, but, we're still at 82%. And out of that remaining 18%, a lot of it is coming out of clear Democratic strongholds.
I
and
hope so.
Some of these votes just barely got, some of the offices only closed about 2 hours ago.
Chan, I want to address this. I wonder how close the race would be if this was for governor and not the Senate.
Well,
I think it would be just as close, not because it's a higher level, but because the average American doesn't freaking understand how the government works. And they think anybody in any position, as long as it supports Trump, is a good thing, not recognizing that the governor only handles the state and has no effect on national politics. I mean, they really don't get it. They really don't. And so I think it would be just as close, if not another blowout for the Republican candidate, if it was at the governor level.
Well, it should be said, Walker was 200,000 votes short of Kemp's statewide total. So there was already a disparity. And like I said, in the November 8th election, you had a libertarian, which was an option for disaffected Republicans who did not want to vote for Herschel Walker, could cast a ballot for somebody else who nominally was, quote unquote, not Democratic or Republican, but clearly libertarians are Republicans who like to smoke weed. So it's like, let's not be confused. And I think there are lots of people, between weather and between the fact that the Senate really isn't in the balance right now, that do you want, if you're sitting in a situation where an important vote is coming, do you want somebody like Walker to be on television representing your state?
Yeah. So going back to, what he says, if you can't read it, what I mean is it's easy to send someone to Washington who's just a vote. It's a whole other thing to have that person actually making decisions that directly affect you. And I'm telling you that the average Georgian does not know that.
Right.
They don't get it.
And when Trump isn't even there to sign a bill that maybe Walker might be voting on,
right?
What is it you're actually doing, bro?
Right. Remember, we had people doing videos all over the internet. President Trump, please come save us. Like he really gave a damn about anybody in the Appalachian Mountains. He does not. And so
okay, I'm sorry to interrupt you. New York Times is back. And what they have just done, even though Herschel Walker is in the lead, their internal analytics show a Warnock plus 3.2 in the estimated margin. And they have now put it so far into the chance of winning as very likely Warnock, there's almost no space for there to be any more likelihood. So
meanwhile, I'm looking at Herschel being up by 8,000 votes.
Yeah. But this is what they're doing, because let me explain to you what they said, what their methodology was. So they said this is our best estimate for the outcome of this race based on the places that have reported votes so far. And so the full forecast basically is they have gone to the districts that still have votes outstanding. They have gone to the districts where all of the tally is in, and then they have analyzed what the trends are from within those districts. And so basically what they're saying is that, okay, about 17 or 16% of the vote is out right now. That's all that's out. But this is where the vote is out. And if you expect Warnock to get 87% of the votes in these areas that they're out, that's not just 6,000 votes. That's 70, 80, 90, 100,000 votes. And meanwhile, Walker's out of gas. Walker is further along in the race right now, but he ain't got no battery nor a charging station in sight. Whereas Warnock is barely behind him, and his pit crew is changing the tires and filling up the tank. So this is what they're saying. They have him at a 95% chance of winning at this point. And they are saying that the final margin is going to be Warnock by plus 3.2. So this is the New York Times. Nobody's perfect, but this is not the same as a poll. If it were polls, I feel differently. This is
expert analysis.
This is statistical analysis of the votes that are in play right now. This is not, oh, well, I said I'm going to vote for Raphael. No, all the votes are in. I mean, the votes are done. They're just tallying what is still outstanding. And so I'm going to go back. Raphael Warnock now, and this is why we're seeing it. I'm doing a John King horse racy thing. Now Warnock is up 50.29%, now just 50.26% over Herschel Walker, who's at 49.74. And based on what they're saying is that we should not see Herschel Walker take the lead again. We should see, in fact, Raphael Warnock's lead continue to grow at this point. And with 3 million plus votes cast, Raphael Warnock is at 50.26% and climbing. So that's with 85% of the votes in. They're not ready to call it. They're not doing that calling thing. They're just saying their live forecast based on the data that is updating in real time, that this is where we are. So I'm not saying at all that it's over at all. I'm not saying that at all.
I got a headache right here.
Right?
I
understand.
In this eyeball right here.
Yeah, this is my brother. My brother talking to my mom about, he's flying back from Colombia, I think, right now. And they were talking about his time in Kenya. So he was in Bogota this past week. Let me just look at some of the other things that in the meantime, since we're kind of riding on this high, can we talk about the Trump org being found guilty on all 17 counts?
Yes, we can. Yes, we can. Yes, we can.
Let's do that. So
I don't have another one of these over there.
Another little baby box.
Yes.
So this is something that we've been waiting for a long time. There have been investigations after what?
KJ, what did they say on MSNBC?
What did they say about Goody Mob on MSNBC now that they canceled what's her name show? Yeah, you got to type that into the chat. I wouldn't. Now, Chan says maybe they can trade Herschel Walker for some draft picks. I wouldn't trade Herschel Walker for toothpicks. Going back to Texas.
Right.
Find another
person
to impregnate.
Right.
Oh, Raven is asking, please explain what all of the guilty verdicts mean and why wasn't Trump convicted personally?
Okay, so this is phase one. This isn't the entirety of what it means. What it means is that because their lead witness, Weisselberg, who has been basically the CFO, he's been the main money guy at the Trump org for the past 50 years or whatever. He testified to the practices of the organization. And so what these guilty verdicts mean is that the Trump organization was not doing what it was supposed to do in terms of properly accounting for their income for their executives. And they were giving their executives a pass by giving them unreported income in terms of Mercedes-Benz leases, subsidizing expensive private school tuition, giving them expensive apartments that were not being credited as income. And so consequently, all of those employees were underpaying their taxes. And it was a systemic Trump org thing that was going on. And so they didn't go after Trump because Weisselberg wouldn't do anything that would jeopardize Trump. So you had to get out and do something. Thank you, KJ. And so that's what it means. They're going to have to pay fines. Letitia James is actually looking to have Trump and his children removed from leadership of Trump org things, and also for the next 5 years, ensure that they don't lead any other organization in the state of New York, because already Trump was trying to make a Trump organization to just shift all their assets to, and she wants to blunt that by making it impossible for them to lead any business entity. Go ahead, Joy.
Just as a side note, we do have a correction. We want to make sure we're historically correct. So, historical correction: Uncle Tom actually died protecting the runaway slaves, and it was Gumbo and Sambo that showed Massa how to tree a coon. So,
did somebody put that? I didn't see that.
I got a text message from one of my constituents.
Yeah, as the only Tom on the committee who has braved the outrageous slings and arrows of that particular appellation my entire life. Yes, Uncle Tom was a hero.
Man,
and
it speaks
all
to
of y'all can go to hell.
It speaks to the misinformation campaign that colors every aspect of the education of the average American kid, that they don't really necessarily read the book. They only hear that Uncle Tom is some sort of shucking and jiving thing. And it further serves to disenfranchise young Black kids with another thing that they can't be proud of, to the point that they won't even go read the book. You know? But yeah, Uncle Tom was a hero. Yeah.
Okay. Now I have to give Chan props, because I like well-crafted puns. So he says they are on phase 1 end game, 8 until phase 4 when they collect all the incriminate me stones. So I give you all praise and glory for that, Chan. I love the incriminate me stones. I do love that. Yeah, snap. I am intolerable. Snap. So it looks like I'm just going to keep you updated. Like I said, I don't think we will see Herschel Walker take the lead again. Right now, we have 85% of the votes still. Raphael Warnock above 50%, 50.11%. And so right now, about 7,000 votes between them, 3,033,000 votes. So about 15,000 more votes have been tallied since the last time we had this. And that's what's going on right now. How the special counsel ain't playing the radio, I need a little more context on that one. Yes, I'm following Attorney General James in my state and happily voted for her again. Yeah, so this is, we were talking about how it was phase 1 of the Incriminate Me Stones gauntlet. And so what we have now is phase 2 is the tax fraud personally of Donald Trump in the valuation of some of his properties that is defrauding the federal government out of personal tax. That's the other thing. And they want to remove all of the Trump. So Eric and Cokie Boy, Don Jr., they want to take them off the board so that they can't run anything Trump. They want to take Trump off the board so Trump can't run anything Trump, and basically kind of kill his spirit. That's notwithstanding the things that are happening in the Georgia prosecution with Fani Willis. Fani Willis is about to close down the special inquiry grand jury, and they are still waiting on a couple of key persons to be deposed to be questioned in the grand jury. We had Lil Lindsay, who had to go. Mike Flynn is still trying to fight it. Newt Gingrich is still trying to fight it. The chief of staff, Mark Meadows, is still trying to fight it. And the judge looked at Meadows and was like, nah, you don't get to claim executive privilege on this, bro. You need to know how it works first. You got to bring your ass down and answer the questions. So come on, bring it down and answer the questions. I see. Thank you, CJ. The special counsel is going to all the states where Trump and his people tried to overturn the election results. Yeah. You're talking about the guy that Merrick Garland assigned. Yeah. Yes, absolutely. And that's the other big thing in Georgia. The 16 electors in the fake slate, one of whom is the lieutenant governor of the state of Georgia. They are being charged with a whole different level of crime that is somewhat unambiguous.
Oh yeah, they going to jail.
They in trouble because unlike some of those slates of electors, some of them put like the little codicil of, well, just in case it turns out that he does have rights, we got to do this.
Some people was like, find the votes. Ooh.
Yeah, but these dudes, they were like, no, we are the legitimate electors. So that's a whole different kind of crime. And the only reason that the lieutenant governor got a pass was because Fani Willis actually did a fundraiser for his opponent, and they determined that disqualified her from prosecuting him. Now you have 88% NK. I'm going back over to the Atlanta Journal-Constitution to see what they have to say. New York Times only has 85%. Warnock carries swingiest county in Georgia. Baldwin County flips to Warnock. And so they're saying returns showed the Democrat carrying the middle Georgia counter by about 1 percentage point, which Walker narrowly won in November. So that's the first major flip of the night.
Bernadette has a point, though. This is a historical number of KKK members voting for a black man.
Well, there's that.
Yeah.
But he's really Clayton Bigsby black, so I don't think they.
Yeah.
I don't think that.
But
Morehouse by 15,000. I feel you, Paul Stadden. That's right.
He's what they mean when they say I don't see color. They're talking about Herschel Walker when they say that.
He also doesn't see vowels, so
or consonants,
or condoms,
or sense.
Right.
I can't even get up and walk away because I got this headset on and I don't want to drag it away. I just got to sit here and just rock.
Rock, skate.
I hate us too, KJ. Or pronouns.
Yeah, or pronouns.
Yeah,
he said he doesn't know what a pronoun is, bro.
I believe that.
But he doesn't know what a lot of things are.
Right.
Yeah. Because he's not a smart man. He said
he is not a smart man. I mean, to his credit, he recognizes that coons are smarter than him.
Right.
Since they're the smartest animal in the woods or whatever. He's a country boy. Mm-hmm. So Dem's the smartest animal.
Or subject verb agreement. Yeah.
All of
that.
Mm-hmm.
Or pronunciation, or
as my mother would have said back in her day, he don't know how to spoke.
Spoken it.
Right. He ain't never seen not nary parts of Schoolhouse Rock.
Oh,
never.
I know that's right.
That part, Eric.
From
he
my
don't
favorite
even know about
Schoolhouse Rock.
Mm-hmm. Not even Fraggle Rock. None of it.
Not no rocks. Crack rocks, perhaps.
Yes.
Yeah, maybe. Possibly. Yeah.
Nice one, Paul. Our Sharpies are witty and funny. I love the level of intelligence. I love the level of intelligence in our audience. Y'all make me happy.
As opposed to amateur nouns who need NILs for any sort of compensation.
He's a werewolf.
Well, I mean, or more, right. No, Sesame Street. Oh my God. Herschel the Grouch.
Oh my God! Wait, don't forget that elections are erections. That might be the one Sesame Street thing he saw was when you took the little villain would take the one letter and change it to another word. I think that's what he saw, and he's been doing that ever since.
Hey, have they called this for Warnock?
Who did?
What?
Well, I'm trying to double check.
Don't play with me.
I think I just saw an Occupy Democrats.
Oh, don't believe them.
No, I'm going to CNN right now. I want to see what CNN is having to say right now.
Slowly inching up. Like AP has 85% reporting, and it's Warnock at 50.1 by about call it 9,000 votes.
Yeah, New York Times has they now have 88, and it's 50.17, and have him up by around 11,000 votes. And
thank you, Mark. Yeah. I want to address something that Derek Sykes said. Still amazed that the Republican Party sees Walker as a viable candidate. Of course they do, because what they see is an empty vessel to be possessed by their future overlord, Trump. That's what they wanted. They wanted somebody. If you remember the one debate that was televised, the one debate between Warnock and Walker, they went. First of all, it was on Fox. That was a whole nother thing. But they went out of their way to make sure the question got asked, and they tried to make it palatable by asking Warnock first. If Biden runs again, would you support Biden? And Warnock was like, who the hell even cares about? I'm trying to win my election right now. Right. I don't care nothing about Biden running later. I have to see what's on the screen. Like, I have to figure it out. I can't give you a yes or no about that. We don't even know if he's going to run. It was a rational answer to an irrational question. But they only asked him that so they could turn around and ask Walker,
right,
if Trump runs again, will you vote for Trump? Yes, I 100% will vote for Trump. I mean, that's exactly the way he said it. And that's all they wanted to get on record so they could play that back on Fox News over and over and over again. Walker will like Trump, but Walker also, that's not a thing that the Senate does other than confirming the general election to vote for, or, for the president. I suppose he's trying to say that he'll support any of the president's action. But again, you're talking about bills and stuff. So again, you don't know how government works. It doesn't matter. Go ahead, Tom. I can see you want to say something.
So this is just creamy and delicious. DeKalb County only has 65% of its vote in, right? 65%. And right now, Warnock has 90.8% of the votes. 157,000 votes in DeKalb to 15,000 votes for Herschel Walker. And so even in Decatur County, which I don't know that much about geography in Georgia. I thought Decatur County might have had more votes. They only had 9,000 votes there.
It's a smaller county, but DeKalb is the one. When they say they go into the deck, that's DeKalb. Like, that's in an Outkast song,
Yeah, and all of these, I'm looking at some of these other places that have lots of vote out. So Fulton, 70% of the vote is in, right? Only 70%. So
I'm gonna guess.
Is
I'm gonna guess 94%.
No, not that good.
Okay.
It's 81.5%, but the vote is 203,000 votes to 46,000 votes. It's not even close. And so as the remaining 30% of those votes come in, he's going to get all of that. And that's why
Atlanta is the land that Maynard Jackson made from way back in the 90s. We didn't have black mayors since then. Shout out to Andre Dickens. Hope you're doing well tonight. I just want to put up this note by Mr. Calloway. Lieutenant Governor was asked why Trump was not stumping for Walker. He said Trump doesn't do token rallies.
Oh, snap. The same is true in Gwinnett. 90% in, but Warnock is up 62% to 37%. So 148,000 votes to 89,000 votes. And so this is where we are. This is why they're confident in their assessment that Warnock is going to win. Right now, we're showing 50.1%. And look, 50% plus one vote is good. That's all it takes. And right now, he's about 5,000 votes ahead again. That's without the cab. Now we'll get him in the playoffs. Jesus Lord.
Ooh-wee.
All right. Last update from Associated Press is showing Warnock at 50.1, but the gap closed a little bit. It's only they're down to 4,000 votes again, and they're at 87%. But they're showing Warnock trending towards the lead.
Oh, absolutely. It's just it's because of where the last outstanding votes are. It's Gwinnett, and it's DeKalb, and it's Fulton. That's it.
And that's very blue.
Everybody else is at 99%. So it's this is, I mean, it's all very tricky. I don't know why the Atlanta Journal-Constitution doesn't have a better page.
And I just want to say, just off the record or off the subject, just in case any of Byron Allen's people are watching because they decide they want to pick up this show, I do tend to drink from time to time on the show, and I promise you that I will only drink grape juice or cranberry juice if we ever get into a real studio. But I'm gonna drink something
tonight. I will tell you this: when Raphael Warnock wins tonight, I will sing Can We Get to the Yams? I will do the Can We Get to the Yams challenge. I've been practicing. I'm looking forward to singing it and letting folks know that I still got the pipes to do the Charlie Wilson Yams challenge. So I'm just waiting for them to call it. Once they call it, we're going to get to the yams, the sweet yams. Show me the way.
You just wanted to sing that anyway.
I did want to sing it just anyway. Let me tell you a little story about the yams thing. So my son, all of my children can sing, which is not a surprise given who their parents are. And but Coco, listen, CJ, it's a good chorus. I don't know about this. I don't care about Fetty Wap One Eye Ass rapping over it. The chorus though is fire. So my son Coco is the one who doesn't mind singing in front of people, but whereas he used to have a very high falsetto voice, a very kind of Bruno Mars-y sort of thing going on, his voice has kind of dropped into a little bit of a baritone thing now. And so I said, hey son, can you do the Get to the Yams, or can we get to the Yams song? And he said, well, I can't do it like that anymore. I was singing it. And I said, well, can you do the octave? And so he took the octave. And then when we did the second, I came in harmony with the high part. And it was actually fire. I said, son, we got to do a TikTok on that, man, because, people are looking for the Cunningham boys to do the Yam song, especially in the aftermath of Thanksgiving. So we're going to see about it. We're going to see about it. Wise proverb. We are going to get to them. I promise. Son of a gun of a. See, this is why I hate things.
Yeah, I hate things. It's 50-50 once again, and Walker's up by 2,000 votes.
But again, this is not a situation. This is not.
It's because you tried to sing the Yam song. I blame you for this.
Well, I'll be singing it though. Ain't no question. I will be singing about the Yams. But they do show. Yes, CNN has them. CNN has it. It is technically a statistical tie with 91% of the vote in. Checking for updates in 5 seconds on CNN. Let me look for AP. This is annoying.
I was just looking at AP. They had Walker up by 2,000 votes.
Right.
Which is statistically insignificant, but like you said, 50% plus one.
Right. And this is why I just really didn't need. I'm trying. Oh, in Appling County. Well, so maybe some more of the vote in Appling County came in. They only got 4,000 votes in the whole.
I don't even know where that is.
I don't know either, but they've only had 59% of the votes in, and so that's part of the issue, I think. So maybe some votes came in from there. Everybody else is basically done. 99, 99, 99, 99. Chatham, all of the Charlton County, again, tiny county. They're only at 86%. So maybe some of these things are coming in from a reporting perspective. Clayton County, that's Warnock, 86%. That's a huge Warnock County. 89% of the votes are going to him now. Cobb is at 60% for Warnock, 85% of the votes in. Clark County is a wrap. Clay County is a wrap. And then of course DeKalb. Still only 65%. This is why I'm not sweating this.
Yeah, I mean, and you also got to remember in DeKalb County and parts of Fulton County, they are understaffed, and it's going to take them a long time to pull that in.
Yeah,
so we may not be able to hold out all night for that, but I mean, I ain't got shit to do in the morning, so I'm here.
Right. We know Chuck is probably halfway into.
Chuck is already blinking hard.
Yeah, he's already blinking hard and slow. And Douglas Douglas still has about 5% out. Fulton again at 70%. So it's these counties that just haven't been reporting, the big heavy Democratic counties. Forsyth is 92%, but that's going to be tallying votes for Warnock and Walker. And again, Gwinnett's at 90, and it's a 62% county for him right now.
So, in order to distract us a little bit, I'm gonna just tell you what my plan is. Should Herschel Walker somehow do the and win, if he does, first off, understand there's a couple that I know they got married a couple years ago. It's a Spellhouse couple, as a matter of fact. I won't call their names out because all y'all can't come with me. But my Spellhouse couple, y'all know who y'all are. And they got land on the east coast of Georgia. And so we're going to go to the east coast. We're going to fortify that little area, plant some peppers and some collard greens and some green onions, maybe some kale and I think they have a couple of fruit trees. And if they don't, we'll plant one. And that is going to be base for us. Now, I got another friend. You know who you are. Arizona, I'm looking at you. I'm going to need you to bring all your hardware with you. Come on, start heading east. And meet us there. I'll give you GPS directions. Meet us there. From my friends up towards the VA area. You know who you are. Come on down. If you don't fortify on your own, you are welcome to. I'm inviting you to the Spellhouse couples ranch. They got a couple of acres out there, and we're gonna just put up a fence all around. We're gonna build our own border wall, and don't come in here for nothing. And we're going to have our own little community. Doctors, all my doctor friends, you know who you are. All of you are welcome. Teachers, if you don't have any appreciable skills that would be useful in the commune, you on entertainment. I will explain that to you at a later date. We're going to need some scouts. We're going to need some defense. We're going to have all of that. And we're going to have a whole little town of joy. We're going to secede from the Union and just be the own state of Joyville. All right. That's where we headed. Just make sure. If you got my personal cell phone number, we can negotiate whether or not you can come with us. Some of y'all be cutting up and be telling your raggedy cousins. Raggedy cousins are not allowed in Joyville. Understand this. Raggedy cousins cannot come because they be cutting up, they be stealing, they be getting high at the wrong time of day.
Ain't nobody got time for that.
Ain't nobody got time for that. If you are a caretaker of children, you are welcome. But if your children are bad, you are not. So there's a lot of rules to Joyville. I'm just letting you know. Wait.
There you go. Joyville.
Yes.
We're not accepting applications for Joyville.
Don't ask questions about what the entertainment is. So safety's off. Safety's off
the toaster, Joy. Okay. I just need things to flip again.
Yes. State of survival. We're gonna need some science people. We're gonna need some math people. We need people that know how to build structures. Might need to build some houses. We're gonna start stealing containers off of ships on the East Coast and living in them.
You're reminding me of the Donald Fagen song, A New Frontier. He's half of Steely Dan, and when Steely Dan kind of went on hiatus, he had a really cool song in the late '80s.
Fans don't have to know about it. We ain't gonna tell them.
I mean, you're advertising it now, though.
They ain't gonna watch this. They ain't gonna know.
He's an artist, a pioneer. We've got to have some music in the new frontier.
Actually, there's a series called Commune. It's a series of like 4 books. And they're actually very interesting. I suggest if you like audiobooks that you get them an audiobook because they were the guy that did the narration is like an award-winning audiobook person. But Commune, forget who wrote it, but it's all about like what happens ironically after like a disease ravages the country. There's only a few people left, and then they got to get it together. It's great. The whole series is great. But that is where I got some of my ideas from. It's a combination of Commune and The Walking Dead. I will be Negan. Understand that.
Not Negan. So you got the bat already you got Lucille already with the nails all in it and everything.
Well, name is Larry, because, it's a dude.
Oh,
but
well,
yes.
Yeah. I mean.
Hey,
he's back. Oh, I thought we had lost you. I thought you were gone, bro.
Somebody said he went and got a sip of Uncle Nearest.
I would say good night.
Hey, he's back on top. Thank you. All right. 50%.01. As long as he's up by like 2,000 votes. Or actually 1,900 votes.
He's up by 1,900 votes. Lord Jesus.
Ufa.
I
93%
know.
of vote according to CNN, and
This
CNN
is
shows them up by 14,000
this
votes.
is
So
too
that's good.
close. It shouldn't be like this. It
It really
shouldn't be like
shouldn't.
this. And you know what? There's something else I thought about. Like as you went across all the Senate races across the country in these midterm elections, nobody blew anybody out. This whole country is purple. The problem is we take a narrow win and call it a landslide.
Well, he does.
Resounding defeat of 54 to 46. That ain't, it's 4 percentage points.
Yeah, nobody cares. Win is a win.
Hmm.
Okay,
Win is a win.
something is coming in now because we went from 50.01 to 50.22%
Okay.
in moments. So these districts are coming in. I'm going back to
Oh shit.
CNN because CNN has the county by county map.
Yeah, all of a sudden he was up by 14,000 votes. Warnock is up on the
Right.
Associated Press at
And
90%.
Gwinnett is at 90%, and
Where's Fulton?
DeKalb is still at 65%. What is
Because ain't
going
nobody over
on?
there counting ballots, bro.
And then Fulton is at 83%. So Fulton has
Okay.
gained a little bit in their count. He's at 78.9% of the vote in Fulton. So that trend, if they are at just about 300,000 votes with 83% in.
Now, this is
So,
100% true. The
oh,
fact that
absolutely,
Walker
Mike.
is a legitimate threat to be a senator is an indictment on the whole system.
Man,
Absolutely.
It
hey, man.
absolutely is.
You know,
Mm.
I really think that this country has I can't even articulate it the way I want to, but we started believing our own bullshit about being
Mm,
exceptional, being the best country, being the best this
mm,
and that. And we started eschewing the need for public education. Public education was for poor people's kids. Never mind that 88% of the country is poor,
Yeah.
well, there's that.
by general standards. Like when the poverty line comes up over minimum wage, you are doing it wrong. And yet you got people who make minimum wage mad about, oh, they're going to tax us. You are not the rich. If you
Mm-hmm.
get paid, as I've said before, if you get paid by anyone else, you are not
Not
rich.
the rich.
Unless you have a revenue stream where other people bring money into you, like an Elon or something like that, you ain't rich. And the idea that education is stupid. If you have not seen the movie on Netflix, oh, Don't Look Up, about the comet that was coming
Yeah.
Oh,
Earth, and they
mhm.
convinced half the world not to look up. And it's amazing how it happens because it's insidious and the things that they do. I'm sitting here like, this is the freaking 2016 election. That's what happens when celebrity overshadows rationality. And people like, I just think he's cute or he's funny or this is, I'm going to vote just to see what happens. And we stop believing in consequences. We stop believing in the future. We stop believing in our own selves and we just want something to make us feel better. We are on a drug of misinformation. It's more fun. It feels better to just believe whatever you want and have no consequences, not realizing that that is a short term, short lived idea and we're all going to suffer for it later. This is how you get to idiocracy, right? Remember
Mhm.
that movie?
Oh, I
All of
love
these
that
things were
movie.
supposed to be fiction. And yet here we are with a brain addled athlete that could
Mm.
potentially be running a large state. This ain't like one of them square states out west where only 30,000 people live in it. Georgia is huge, right? And it is
Yeah.
scary. It is scary to me that so many people see this as a joke or see this as some way to stick it to somebody else. So many, especially, and I'm making a generalization, and I admit that, especially in the Republican Party, so many people are so concerned with sticking it to someone that they view as less deserving or less worthy, whether it's someone at the border, someone who's seeking asylum, someone with dark skin, someone with a college degree. I'm going to stick it to you by doing something that might hurt me a little bit, but I'm okay to be hurt a little bit because I'm going to stick it to you, not realizing that that little bit is all of it. You are hurting yourself. You're not just voting against your own self interest, you're voting against your own survival. And that's what kills me. You are voting against your own survival, against your children's survival. Why? Because you don't want to see anybody that doesn't look like you do so much as get a promotion on their job. And that's where we are. And that's why he is a legitimate candidate, because there's that many people in this state that would, just the way they did during the Civil War when they burned Atlanta to the ground, they would do it all over again if it just meant that other people would not be able to succeed. Let's not forget that they murdered most of the black politicians after Reconstruction. And they would do it all over again. Why? Because they don't want to see anybody that's not white get ahead. And that is a goddamn shame. And I know that I may be off on a rant. I meant every word I said. I will say it all again if you want me to, but I will give the floor to you. I know you got to update, Tom, so go ahead.
So it's just some interesting metrics that I'm seeing. Of course, this is a runoff, and so you expect that there's going to be a decrease in turnout. We have, thank you, Jessica, that our first official call from a major news outlet calling the race for Warnock. I will say, with 93% of the votes in, as I said, and this was something that we really anticipated being the case, Warnock's margin is climbing. Now he's at 50.41%, which is among the largest margins he's had since it turned into a real horse race. So, we had been going back and forth. At one point, he was like 52%, but then as things grew closer together, this is now the trend that we're actually looking at, 50.41%. And as I was doing some analysis on the New York Times page, as you would expect, turnout dropped in general across the board. There isn't a single county that logged increased turnout for the runoff. However, it's the Herschel Walker dominated counties that saw on average a greater drop in turnout than Warnock County. So for instance, Dade County, 12% decrease in turnout, right? But in Richmond County, which is a county that is a Warnock winning county, it's a 5.8% decrease in runoff. So the margins of people who came out to vote in general, and it doesn't stand across the board. You figure in a county like DeKalb, or that's a big county with lots of people in it, that you would have some fall off. But again, Bibb County, a Warnock County, 8.5%. So you have an impact where in a lot of these counties that Herschel Walker won, his fall off was more significant. And it happens to be in counties that carried more votes. So in some of these small counties, he may have only dropped by 5%, but there's only 4,000 votes to be tallied in the whole damn county. That doesn't mean very much for you. But, if it's a county where you had tens of thousands of votes in your plus column, a plus 24 column, if you lose 8% of turnout, that is definitely something that's going to impact you. And that's what we're seeing right now that's playing off. It looks like Sharon is coming in.
I think CNN is calling it too.
I'm on CNN. CNN has called it for Warnock as the projected winner at 50.4%. The AJC, I'm looking at it if the Atlanta Journal-Constitution has called it yet. So they have 92% of the votes. They haven't done it yet.
All my people, AZ, VA, INA, all of y'all can stand down. I will not be mobilizing my futuristic apocalyptic program yet.
Yep. And New York Times has called it pretty much everybody. Yeah, New York Times. Yeah, I got you, CJ. Warnock HQ is celebrating. Sharon, are you going to come on camera now? I have you. No, there isn't an automatic recount, especially not in a, and he's up. He'll be up by more than 1 point.
Yes, Bernadette, this is too much. Like my nerves can't take it.
Yeah, it's a lot.
Like I don't. Yes, you are welcome in Joyville. You got it. You got a season pass.
She said, "You got it. You got it, Joy. You got it."
I'm so aggravated that it took till 10:28 p.m.
I
to figure this out.
I cannot even.
I hear her.
I do hear her. Sharon.
Easier for people.
See, Mike Bartlett says, is Walker going to concede? I think Walker thinks concede is what a raccoon does when it opens its eyes in the morning. The coon seed.
No. He thinks concede is like the fruit from a con fruit. Like it's a seed. It's a concede.
It's a coon
And they
seed.
right, it's a coon seed, out of a different type of watermelon because it's the watermelon capital of the world. So concede.
50.6. He's still climbing. 95% of the
Yeah.
vote. The margin is opening. It is more than a 1 point lead at this point. It is a 1.2% lead. And and they are
he may not concede, but yeah, he might try to abort it.
abort
Yes.
it. Oh,
Oh,
Fox has called it.
Yep.
Fox News has called the win for Raphael Warnock. I think I'm going to Fox.com right now just to make sure.
I just want to say congratulations, Georgia, and praise the Lord for Black America.
Yep.
Yes. But Carla says Georgia has
with
saved the nation.
55%.
I would like to say
Nice
that
now.
Georgia has pushed the drop dead date back a little bit because the nation is far from saved, but we got a shooting chance of saving this democracy for at least the next couple of years. Every year it seems like there's something that could tear us all apart, but for now we're in closer to a stable environment. Now is the time to see if we can hold on to the lead in the Senate, if we can maybe mitigate, if not reverse, the damage that is done in the House, if we can maybe pass laws instead of waiting on the Supreme Court to make decisions for us. I'm just not hopeful about doing anything permanent because
Right.
now that we've gotten Warnock back in, there's still a lot of work to do. There's still some obstructionists in there. They're going to do everything they can to stop the Senate, the House, and Biden's administration from doing the work of the people. So this is where local politics comes back in. This is where writing your congressman, writing your senator comes back in. I feel like everybody that voted or sent money to anybody across the nation, whether you live there or not, write that senator too. Like, hey girl, whoever you are, I gave you $25 towards your election. You better come do something for me. All of y'all that donated to Warnock's election, and you don't live in this state, you are welcome to send him a letter if he gets out of pocket. Although I don't think he will, because he's a real one. He is definitely a real one.
Joy, I'm just receiving notification from the Herschel Walker campaign. It appears that he is ready to make a concession announcement, and here is some image that we have from that press conference.
You know what? I hate you with my whole heart, Tom Cunningham.
That's the bomb.
Well, the coon is the smartest sheriff in the forest.
Mm. Yes, please pray for us, KJ, because we are a hot mess.
You know what I love? I love how the networks that have called it for him, and so the New York Times went from saying a 95% chance of winning to winner. And I love how they just keep tallying the votes, and his margin just creeps. It just keeps creeping up. So it's now at 50.6%, and still climbing with 95% of the votes in.
Yeah, and what I'm seeing on Associated Press is everything has been called except for a huge blue area around Atlanta.
Exactly.
So you're right; it's only going to get better from there.
No, it's only going to get better. And AP, like I said, everybody is doing. Everybody's now saying the exact same thing. Everybody has called it, and so
you're right, Bernadette. He was calling, texting like he was your zaddy. Yeah, Obama ghosted me this morning. Like all of a sudden, I don't hear nothing else from him either. Oh, he ghosts me every election cycle. He be all, hey girl, you up? Hey big head. And then as soon as I give him some money, he gone.
Kenneth still got 12 emails today.
Oh yeah. I'm still getting emails from the voting people, but like email, text messages for donations, I just started blocking them. Like, you didn't got all the money that you're gonna get out of me.
You don't need no more money. Now, this is something that we haven't really touched on, but it does bear mentioning. Raphael Warnock raised an outrageous amount of money. Not he just entered the portal. My God. He gonna play for Prime.
Who said that?
Paul Staten, I think it was.
Yeah.
Mhm.
He said he just entered the portal. My God. And Ravine is saying DeKalb with crying tears. So I don't know if something just came through from DeKalb, but those votes just keep coming in, and so that's really what we're looking at right now. We're just very pleased to see the breakdown of all of the votes.
Let's all go to the lobby. Let's all go to the lobby.
Let's all go to the lobby to get ourselves some coon.
I wasn't ready.
Yeah,
I
think
was
you got
not
to be,
ready.
though. You know what you might be ready for, though?
What might I be ready for?
Can we get to the yams, sweet yams? Show me the way, 'cause I got bills to pay. Can we get to the yams, sweet yams? Show me the way, 'cause I got bills to pay. Go on ahead, Raphael Warnock. Do the damn thing. You got the yams, you got the greens, you got the black eyed peas, you got the what else we got? Some cornbread, dressing, you got mac and cheese,
Greens, beans, potatoes, tomatoes, lambs, rams.
Oh, no. We got it all. They said it's quiet over here by Herschel's people. Well, they all hunting for coons, so
Oh,
they're trying to get breakfast. We're gonna get some coon sausage.
Look,
Wait,
I
I
want
think I
black
got-
people to take a victory lap. That they
Yeah,
actually thought we were a bunch of suckers.
They really did.
and couldn't
Mike
tell
Bartlett,
people apart.
you have asked and you shall receive. He's still got his day job, holding a sheriff's badge on the side. I didn't even notice until now that he's holding it on the side so that it's an inverted pentagram star. It's not even like a real sheriff's star. It's an old
Wait, KJ,
not
are
Don't
you?
Stop Believing. Are they really? Herschel Walker's people are playing Don't Stop Believing?
That is ridiculous.
Just a running back. He was barely black. He liked to hunt his coons almost every day.
That was pretty cool, Tom.
Yeah, you know
Yeah,
that.
it was. That wasn't bad at
I'll flip
all.
some lyrics real quick for you.
Damn cool. Yeah.
Don't stop believing. Don't stop believing what, jackass? You're done. You're done, son. You're done, son.
I'm so glad. Y'all don't understand. Like, I really feel lighter. Like a weight
Nice.
has been lifted off of me. Because what I also was not. Wait, first off, I want people to understand that we all hate him. KJ.
You're the one who put up Don't Stop Believing. Shit.
But what I really wasn't looking forward to, if by some weird, crazy stupidity, if Herschel had won, I did not want to field all the phone calls and emails and text messages from the rest of the country. What's wrong with your state? What the fuck's wrong with the rest of y'all states
I know
Right.
who
that.
had overwhelming Republican support? It's a wholly all looking at you, Texas. So I don't hear nothing from nobody in Texas.
You know what is
Shout
gonna
out to
be
Houston, though, because my
the-
Houston people be doing good.
the most interesting response that I am waiting for is whether or not Trump will try to dog out Kemp or Raffensperger, or probably he will say something about Fani Willis. But this was his last guy. This was his last line in the sand to prove that he had the chops to put a candidate who otherwise would not have had a ghost chance in hell.
This was his Pygmalion.
This was I mean, gosh, just you think either one of them knows what Pygmalion is?
This was his My Fair Lady,
Right.
except a dude and black.
Right, exactly. A dude in black who can't sing or talk. So when you think of Trump, because Herschel Walker, actually Herschel Walker has been tied to Trump for the entirety of his career. This isn't just some Johnny come lately, like he decided he was going to endorse Mehmet Oz.
Wait, KJ said that Herschel was peeing on cotton. What? Oh, just any other coon peeing on cotton. Okay, my bad.
You could hear a coon pee on cotton. I gotta go to a feed. I gotta go to a live feed right now. I'm trying to see something.
Wait, I think I have a picture from the inside of Herschel Walker's group. Here it is. Nope, that's not it. There we go. Nothing. Wait, hang on. I'm bringing in some sound. Ooh, ooh.
Yeah, Herschel Walker's election party is looking like Will Smith walking through the streets in I Am Legend.
Right. Please talk to me.
Just random deer, just like hopping and shit.
Just running up on the mannequin. Please talk to me. Anybody?
I really enjoyed that video you recommended last week. Joanne, Portia.
And Mike's got a point. Someone mentioned the amount of money. Election reform is imperative for our government to survive. The industrialization of government is obscene. And I remember Obama talking about this when the Supreme Court relaxed those rules around how money could be used in elections. He was like, y'all fucking up. And he was right. And it's been a problem ever since. Money should not dictate who gets to run this country. It should be the will of the people. But if so many people can be swayed by sharp and fancy ads to the point where you got to have money to compete against those ads, it's not about the debate. It's not about the platform. It's about who has the best shock value and the most social media presence. And it shouldn't be like that. I'm not even going to get on that. I'm glad Warnock won. I'm going to take the win. Like the little TikTok sound, a win is a win. I don't care. A win is a win. And I'm happy about it.
I will say that Madison Cawthorn, the Adolf youth leader, who really staked his entire career on being a corn-fed white boy in a wheelchair, playing baby Trump, is done, and he will never be reelected. And now that Congress is out of session, he's done. It's it. And I could not be more pleased. We were concerned coming into the night. You never know how turnout is going to affect in a runoff election. And last time we literally had Donald Trump telling people not to vote because the election was stolen. And so a fair number of people did not vote because of what he said. And you fast forward 2 years later, and his ability to inspire people has clearly deflated. All of his big bets, all of his long bets, he endorsed some people who are guaranteed to win. But his long bets that were important flips, all of them failed. All of the governors, all of the secretaries of state, all of these people failed. And then in the one last opportunity he had to show himself, and he will say, Herschel didn't want me down there to campaign for him. The GOP didn't want me down there to campaign for him. They wanted me to stay away. And if they hadn't told me to stay away, then people would have come out. But they wouldn't have come out to vote.
Right.
They might have come out to see you, but that does not mean they were going to vote for a person that they did not like.
Hey, I love y'all, but I'm about to get in this bed.
He is. That's fine. It's all time for us. This is one of our longer shows, so this is an hour and 37 minutes. We are very happy to spend this time with you. It was a wonderful night. We are very pleased. Go ahead, Joy. Joy has.
I want to remind y'all. Shout out to my girl who just sent me this text message, but I want to remind y'all that Atlanta influences everything.
I am not mad. What I will tell you is that you could celebrate by going to get you a Lensa magical avatar. I've been playing with my magical avatars all day, and I have some pretty good results. One thing I will say is that for some reason, the AI factored Samuel Jackson into my Lord Jesus. Do you think so, Mike? Somebody might.
Somebody needs to.
Yeah. I would just be happy if he throws his weight behind Fani Willis and gets Trump actually jailed and gets that lieutenant governor booted. That would be awesome to me. Jail.
That's the only way to stop him from running is to send him to jail.
Well, he technically doesn't have to stop running if he is in jail. I just don't think the GOP would allow him to be to be the candidate if that happens. But if you want to spend $5.99 to make yourself look really special, you can go to get Lensa. I'm gonna tell all my co-hosts that they need to get their little Lensa app game on, because this is what your kid looks like.
Really? Now,
yeah.
okay, so now did you have to take that headshot and they fixed it up?
No, so what happens is you put up like 20 of your own selfies, right? And then they don't just they use AI and they put you in a bunch of different categories. So like, this
like
is
DMX.
Yeah. I'm silver DMX right there. That's a superstar. The one on the left is a superstar. The one on the right, I think, is kind of a little bit elvish. Maybe.
Yeah, you do look like the Lord of the Rings.
The Lord of the Rings. And then they also do like different close-up. This is me as a
Jedi,
as Jesus's uncle, whatever. And then this is me in my M'Baku phase, and also my much younger light-eyed phase. So just play with Lensa, folks. But more importantly, shout out to everybody in Georgia who did the damn thing. What does your sweatshirt say, Joy?
It says love.
See? And that's what it's all about. What?
Love and voting. Yes.
Now?
Love and voting in Georgia is what we need.
It is 50.7%.
Oh, yeah.
There's no recount. He's won. It's done. It's done, son.
You're absolutely right. Actually, KJ, we put that up earlier, that quote.
We sure did. So, and we're done. So yes. I'm just going to play us out. I'm actually going to play us out with the After Dark message, because that's Joy's favorite. So
yes, and that's what I'm about to do is grab my favorite drink, grab some, light all of it.
Here we go, everybody. Oh wait.
Go ahead, Tom. Get your shimmy out.
Yeah, you know what time it is. Crack open that bottle of wine. Grab your favorite glass, pour a couple of fingers of scotch in it. Get that stick, light it, and blow. It's time to hang with Steel Sharpened Steel.